In this series, we'll be looking into creating an AngulaJS form in SharePoint and submitting its data into a SharePoint list. So I have a simple form. All I'm having is your name, email, and how we can help. So we also have a reset button and a submit button. Also, I've created in the back end, in my site contents, I have a list created already. So as you look at my code, you will see that I have a few files that I am referencing, and it's in my site assets folder. So I have my CSS file, I have a jQuery AngularJS that I'm using, which is 1.47, and also I have my JS file, the app.js. And if you look right here, one of the things that I've done is I put user in front of, for my ng model, user in front of all of my fields. So this way it will make it easier for me to just reset it. So let's save that. And first of all, let's work on this reset button. So the first thing you would do is you need to do an ng click, and let's call the reset button just reset. Let's save that. And as we get into our JS file, we will call the function to reset. So let's do scope reset in the function. We'll just call the object that we have. One thing I always like to do is actually open up our developer tools in Chrome. You can do this in whatever browser preference that you like. So as we enter our information, it's just a test data. So when we hit reset, it takes it back to the reset. So going to our submit button, let's go ahead and put a ng click on this. And let's do submit. Let's save that. And go ahead and let's create our submit button function. So let's capture the data that we want. So the data that we want to submit the information, we will first need to get the metadata. And this metadata is coming from SharePoint. Not something that you want to really memorize, but this is what I have right here to get the metadata. Just to show you right here. Just to get the metadata type, the value of the list, you have to put in the name of your website right here. And it has this where it's getting the title, the name of your list. And also it has right here the list item entity type for full name. So as you see right here on this line, you see that the name to get the metadata is called contact list item. So this is the information that you will need when you're creating it. So you would do metadata and in there, create an object, the type, and this information, let's copy that. Looking at your list, you have the title. So this is the information that we've got. We've got the metadata. Next, we want the title. Go into our form. What we need right here, we need this information because it's the information you're trying to save. So let's copy that and let's go back to here. So when a user submits it, this is one of the information that will be submitted, which is your username. So the next one that we have is the email. You just repeat this, the email, user, I believe we put email, and then the description. So we have the data that we captured, so we can send it on the submit button. One of the things I do like to do, let's make sure that that it is actually functioning. So let's do test submit. So we save that. Going back to the form, let's refresh this. And here you go. So let me pull this up a little bit. But as you see, it is there. I just wanted to clear the console so you'll be able to see. So as you see, the test submit, what we have here in the console. So the next thing that we need to do, we need to use a service to actually request an HTTP. Basically, it generates, well, you're going to generate an HTTP request and return a promise that is either resolved or rejected. So either it's successful or if it failed. Okay. So here we have it. Now you need the URL. Let's go ahead and put in the information that we need from this list. So which is an API, as you know that SharePoint Online it allows us to use a REST to grab the information, which works great. Some people use SBS services, but this works just as well. So we have to get it by the title, and then we go ahead and put in the title. So the title that we do have is called, let's make this a little bit bigger. It's going to be kind of long. And we have the contact. And what did we call it? We called it contact list. Or contact us. And what we're trying to get the items. So after we do that, we got to figure out the method. And the method that we're trying to do is we're trying to post the items. So put post, and then we do the content type. Next thing we need to do is the data. So we do have our data right here that we're trying to submit. So what we'll do is we'll stringify it using JSON, and so we'll stringify the data that we're trying to submit, that we're trying to push, and so our async call would be false. So the header is the next thing that we need to put there. Let's see, this is something that I do not memorize right here, so definitely have to copy this. As far as generating the HTTP request, it also returns a promise that is either resolved or rejected. So we'll add our promise, then function. So let's say this is the success. We can either do an alert. Well, let's just do an alert right now. Success. And once we hit the submit button, we also want to clear this out. So we just do the same thing here. Let's copy this. And we just set it as just to clear the information. Actually, give me 1 second. Just look through, make sure that we have everything correct, which we do. Okay, so let's do our response for the error. So we'll do another function. Let's clear this one more time. So we're clearing console to the developer tool, and let's go ahead and put in our information. Test. So we hit submit. There we go. We have an error. So that means we did something wrong, which is good. So let's see what we did. What we did wrong here. Let's see, we have a 400 error, so which is like a bad request. So looking at this, I'm thinking, I don't think it likes this. It's probably getting confused with the double quotes. So let's change this up. And let's put single quotes around this. And of course, we got to change this as well to the double quotes. So let's put this around double quotes. Let's save that. Okay, refresh our page. All right, let's try this one more time. Fingers crossed. Should work. It will work. And do test form. Hit submit. So going back to our list, this tab, you will see that the information was submitted successfully. So that's it on how to submit an information to your SharePoint list.